Our gun laws are in for a major shake-up. National and ACT have agreed to rewrite the Arms Act, and nothing, absolutely nothing, is off the table. So does that mean military-style weapons and semi-automatics are back? Joining us now is Associate Justice Minister Nicole McKee, who's in charge of firearm reform. Thank you for joining us, Minister. Can you explain what is wrong with the current laws that were passed by the previous government after the mosque terror attacks?
Look, sure, I can do that, but I just want to start off first, Lloyd, by saying, look, yesterday's news was absolutely devastating about Newshub, and I just want to do a bit of a shout out to you, Mel, and the rest of the team there. We're thinking of you and we wish you really well. It's a blow to democracy, and I just wanted to start off by saying that. But what we're looking at in regard to the arms legislation and what's failed is really having a look at gun crime and how it has increased substantially over the last few years. 2019 and 2020, we saw legislative changes that actually legislative changes that actually have made New Zealand a less safe place. An example of this is gun crime has been on the increase by gang members alone. So between May 2022 and the 17th of May 2023, we have had 2.8 firearm offences every single day committed by gang members. So we had a Labour government that focused their Arms Act reform on the law-abiding, and they let the gangs run amok. This government is going to make sure that we focus on going after the gangs and respecting the law-abiding.
Because what the Labour Party and what a lot of people are making a big fuss about is that you want to reintroduce semi-automatic weapons, and these are weapons that are most commonly used in mass shootings that we've seen overseas. It's what happened in the Christchurch attack as well. Why do you want to reintroduce semi-automatic weapons?
I think we need to be clear in the first place, Lloyd, that I'm not reintroducing anything. Those firearms are already here. In fact, we have 6,600 people who have endorsements to be in possession of those firearms. So there's nothing new here. We are not going to be introducing any new types of actions or any new types of firearms into New Zealand. What we will be looking to do is ensure that we have a regulatory reform that ensures the safety of the New Zealanders, increases compliance with the legislation and reduces regulatory burdens on some.
Is there an ulterior motive here? Because you read between the lines of what the opposition parties say. Is there an ulterior motive here, or do you just want a good, solid Arms Act?
I come from a background of firearms safety, Lloyd. I ran my own business doing firearms safety around our rural and isolated communities, as well as in the cities. What we want to achieve, this is the government as a whole and as ACT as a political party, is a regime that actually goes about keeping New Zealanders safe, that includes everybody in the conversation about how we have good arms law, and then producing arms law that is enduring for the future, just like the 1983 Act was. That means everything needs to be on the table, the good, the bad and the ugly, so that pure and good conversations can be had to make sure we do get that enduring legislation.
You say that there are gun-toting criminals out there now, and it has increased over the last couple of years. How are you going to target illegal firearms owned by criminals?
This government has committed to making sure that we have a really strict and good law and order regime. Pretty shortly we're going to be announcing what it is that we're going to be doing to tackling firearms in the hands of gang members and those that should not be in possession of them. But we also just announced our attack on the gangs themselves, because this government wants to make sure that the gangs are held accountable for their miscreant behaviour with firearms, are not in possession or use of them, and that those that are law-abiding, that have been deemed to be fit and proper by New Zealand Police, are given the chance to partake in what is a normal way of life.
Can you promise me now that your laws and your reforms won't mean that it's easier for gang members to get their hands on like an AK-47 or semi-automatics?
I will absolutely confirm that, because the regime that we want to introduce introduces a new licensing system. It's a graduated system. That means not anyone can just get access to what is currently prohibited firearms, but they need to go through a 5-year introduction and proving themselves as being legitimate, fit for purpose and fit and proper people in order to be in possession. Now, gang members were never going to meet that criteria. They would not meet our criteria and therefore should not be in possession. So we've got to make sure that we go after those illegal firearms that are out there, and National, ACT and New Zealand First are committed to doing just that.
That's going to be an interesting debate. Thank you very much for your time this morning. I do appreciate it. That is Nicole McKee, the Associate Justice and Firearms Minister. And thank you very much for your kind words at the beginning there too.
After the break, comedian Guy Williams on the new series of New Zealand Today, and we meet a leading classical vocalist from India. How will William measure up? That's next.